Good evening and welcome back to the Celtic Unrestricted View. It's Friday. Joining me tonight, my good man, Mr. Ryan Clifford. We welcome back a man from his deathbed almost, Mr. Alan Stirling. And it's our good man, Mr. Barry Bannan, is joining us back on the podcast. Well, Baz, it's good to see you, mate. It's good to see you smiling. And also, good to see you with that tracky tap on for a wee change.
I've not had this on for a while, mate. We've obviously moved house, so I was searching for it and low to get it on for the podcast tonight, so happy to find it. And I'm glad to be back on. Obviously, not been on for a while, so I'm not... Obviously, there's going to be quite a lot of talking points tonight that we'll probably get through, so I'm looking forward to it. And obviously, nice to see a few strange faces.
100%. I can't really say the same because I'm always seeing it through them quite regular, mate. So I can't really say I'm on the same wavelength as you there. Well, big man, it's been good to see you. Still waiting on that note for your mammy to excuse your absence, but hope you're feeling better, big man. It's good to see you smiling again and good to see you back on this.
I think you were on the phone to me a few times. You knew very well what I was like. I was on the sidelines more than Aaron Ramsey. So
I actually thought it was wee Edith for still game I was talking to.
I know, pint of Guinness. So I think there's a lot of this kind of flu bug kicking about. It's winter time in Scotland, so it's to be expected. But I missed talking about Celtic. But we'll come back and talk about a kind of maybe know the best draw against Dundee, so I wish I would have come back earlier so I could be all positive and talk about kind of wins and etc. But it is what it is. We're still in a fantastic place. I'm glad to be back. Glad to see your wee faces, especially you, Barry. But it's good to be back. It's good to have a wee rant and a wee vent about Celtic as always. I hope you guys are doing well and everyone that's watching is doing well.
Aye, we're doing well. Ryan, obviously it's good to see you, and it's also good to see that you went for lunch today with Gary Barlow, because you look as if you're dressed like it anyway. So we've all came prepared tonight, and you've made an effort, but in a different way, mate.
Aye, well, Gary Barlow's teaching me to sing for the half-10 show, mate, so I need to get the practice in somehow. So,
is he doing the keys with you through the piano and all that, is he?
Aye, he's teaching me some things, but I'll tell you
that for years after I heard you lunches, man, with JP. Jesus, man.
Aye, singing
the the shop was smashed, man. The cats are screaming at the car,
man.
Here, honestly.
Podcast 8 o'clock, won the bar at 10, innit?
Part 2, 5 past 10,
he
starts that singing.
There you are, folks. Barry's cracked it for us. He's giving a night's roar away. So we just throw that stop on today, and then we go and get changed once we're finished. But obviously, doing it, you're finished singing today. This could be the greatest day of our lives. What's been happening with the rest of your day?
Aye, all good, mate. Obviously, I was at the Brew Trail, my old man there, so actually quite interesting to be fair. But not good to see Big Alan's back in good health and good to speak to you guys and yourself again, mate. It's always good to come on and have a chat, mate. So obviously, big game in Laura for us, our cup competition to try and hopefully win the treble if we can. It's another cup game and to try and keep obviously a trophy as well. So I look forward to get Baz's insights again as usual and chat to you guys. So hope everybody's well and enjoy your weekend as well if you're doing anything much.
Yeah, and obviously just as the lads were saying there, we'll just come right into it and we'll get some feedback for you guys. It's in the comments. Francis joining us. Evening, boys. Thank God we've got a fully fit squad for tomorrow. Hoping for a good performance and a victory. John Boy 67. Graham. Hail, hail, troops. Lindsay's on as well. Evening all. Hope you're all well. Yeah, we're fine, Lindsay. Thank you. And Jem. Evening, JP, Ryan, Alan and Barry and the chat. You can tell with people's texts, you must be getting annoyed at some point. They're getting longer and longer and longer as we go here with the text. There, 2 hitting a half again. Brilliant to see. Evening, Ange. Evening, Lindsay. They'll be talking about football TV choice. About 20 minutes. Give him 20 minutes. Give him a bit of time.
Hey, football friends.
Look at this. Can't complain, Lindsay, which is always a good thing. Aye. Just on here, we'll do the complaining. Don't worry. Mark McDonald also. Good evening, hosts and the chat. John Clifford's asking, what is the delay? It's Yang's fault, isn't it? No, give the boy a break. And That's strike one, John. I can see that's been a long night for you, mate. Leo Port, your name, I've not seen the comments here for a while. Evening, lads. No more points dropped. League One in April the 12th. Yes. Chris Money also. Evening, boys, and the chat. Ronnie Pickering. Hail, hail. Brilliant. Monty John too. Evening, boys, and the chat. Jim Brown, vocalist. Hail, hail from Crete. Hail, hail. And cheers for tuning in, Jim. Hope sunny Greece is well and warm for you. Barry, obviously, I'm just going to start with you, mate. Obviously, we all watched we'll kick off with the Dundee game for the other night at Dens Park, mate. Celtic up there and ends up a 3 each draw, mate. What was your take on the game?
I thought first half, obviously dominated the ball as expected. Every week we dominate the ball in possession, so that wasn't a surprise. Obviously got an early goal, which then makes me think it's going to be 4 or 5, and maybe could have been that way. We missed a good chance with Paolo Bernardo and things like that, but even in the first half, I wasn't really. I remember texting into the group chat saying this has not been great, and I thought you two thought it was all right, but I just think like they could have done a lot more in the first half to finish the game. I know chances missed, but I just think it was slow. Kept a lot of the ball without really gone at the heart of them and try to kill them. Really, I think it was because we got the early goal, keep the ball, and if we do score again, we do score again. If not, then we back ourselves to get clean sheets as we have done recent weeks and most of the season. But the second half was night and day for the first half. I thought the first half wasn't great, but the second half was really bad. I think the goals that we concede are all avoidable, whether it's individual mistakes or whatever. I just think the goals that you concede, if, like I said the other day, we're quite lucky that we're that many points ahead, and it doesn't really matter dropping the points the other day. But the goals that we conceded, if that's going to be the way that we go forward for now, then I think the Champions League will be out of that before we know it as well. The goals were really, really bad, I thought. And I just think, I remember I touched on it with you as well in the group chat about, I think the big thing it's killing us at the minute, because we spoke about it, me and Ryan. I think we've got 5 points for 12 away from home in the last 4 games. That's worrying, and the only reason it's no worrying is because how many points we're ahead of Rangers, second place. Otherwise, that would be getting talked about a lot more. But because we've got this cushion, it seems to be getting avoided a wee bit. But the last 2 months or so, there's been a dip. Whether people like it or not, I think Celtic have dipped in performances. And I would say a lot of it's down to the changing of the team. I know there's been loads of games played. I've seen Brendan speaking today in his presser about 7 games in 20 days or whatever it was. But I remember Celtic at the start of the season when they were flying. They were 3-4-0 up at half time, and you had the luxury of taking people off at half time if you wanted. Before the Champions League games, they've done it a few times. I don't see why we've went away for that. Because a fully fit Celtic team in the strongest 11 can finish a game in one half easily against the majority of teams in Scotland. So I get people rotating and keeping people happy, but I think it's messed up with the team. I remember saying as well the other night about the combinations that Celtic had at the start of the season. We've not had that team on the park. The last 2 months, where it was Engels, Kuhn and Johnson down the right, or Maeda, Hatate and Greg Taylor down the left, they've barely played together. It's always been changing. And I think a big part of the midfield three. I know the front three's not really changed when they've been fit, but the midfield three changes every week. And it's massive. That's where the game's won and lost for me. And I think the changes in the middle's been the reason why results have probably dipped a wee bit, and performances, not really results, because we've obviously still been getting results as well. But I think the biggest thing for Celtic is judging Celtic by performances, because results will be there whether we perform poor or no. We normally 9 times out of 10 win the game, but as Celtic fans, we want to see performances and becoming stronger and stronger. And I think at the minute we've started to dip a wee bit, and I've seen Brendan's presser saying all the best teams have dips in form, but
Mm-hmm.
I know you can't keep winning every week, but this has been 2 months of the odd good performance, and a bit like last season where you've seen 45 minutes here and there, and I think that's starting to creep in again.
Baz, do you think it's due to the volume of games they are playing? I know you're saying that they're changing the team, and that can upset the continuity with players, like you says, relationships on, like with Johnson and Kuhn and different other relationships. But do you think it's just the frequency of the games and the way in this period that we're trying to get through just now, regardless of whether you kept the same 11 or you changed the full 11, it was always going to upset some sort of rhythm along the way?
I think so. The last 2 months, no, really, because we've not really played Champions League, so we can't use that as an excuse. Like, there's hardly been any Champions League games in the last 4, 5, 6 weeks or whatever it's been. So the teams that we're playing against in Scotland, they're also doing the same as us with a lesser strength of squad. Like, they're probably having to play the same 11 week in, week out. We're changing our team, and we don't really need to, because we're playing against teams who are probably not as fit as us and more tired than us, because Celtic's facilities, etc., we've got the best players in the country, so they should all be able to deal with the demands. So I can't really see that the excuse of loads of games, because the teams that we're playing against, like Dundee, they had 9 injuries and they've been playing the same amount of games as us, but they looked right up for it, and at the end, really, we were lucky to get a point in the end, because we scored late on with a penalty. It could have been a lot worse, but I don't buy into the amount of games that we're playing, because it's the same for every team. If it was Champions League sandwiched in between them and you're playing them extra Champions League games, then maybe, but the last 4 or 5 weeks, there's been no real excuse. I think we've done the same as everybody in Scotland.
Yeah, obviously, Alan, as Baz says there, the volume of games, but not only that, just obviously your take on the Dundee game yourself, mate, for the other night.
We were very wasteful in the first half. We created a fair few chances and didn't really take advantage of it, to be honest. And I've been saying, as Barry's kind of reiterated as well, the last number of weeks, it's just been, it's not been prime Celtic. We've mentioned it a number of times now. It's just been kind of passive. It's not been the same intensity. It's not been the same tempo. There's not really been the same quality that we've seen previously. Obviously, we set a very, very high standard at the first part of the season. We've set a very, very high standard because we played exceptionally well. And Barry might have a great point there that most of that time we were playing, we're probably our strongest 11, whether that be the midfield with Callum, Engels and Hatate. That's differed over the last kind of number of weeks. And as much as I appreciate that Luke McCown is a very, very good player and a bargain, to say the least, does he really hit the heights that Rio Hatate can hit? I'm not so sure. So I think the second half as well, we just dropped off the face of the earth. And I've actually liked the way that Trusty's played since he's come in. But when you look at that defending, it was very, very disappointing, to say the least. That's probably saying it nicely. Brendan, well, there was people lip reading Brendan, and that was probably a lot more fierce than the things that I'm saying. So hopefully you can bounce back for that. But if you're playing at centre half as a Celtic defender, you obviously need to be a lot stronger than that. We are capable of a lot better performances than we've shown recently. I think that was probably the biggest point that was shown there was obviously the game at Ibrox, but we are capable of far better than this. I don't know if it is the kind of changing in the first 11. That might be spot on. But we have built up a lead, but at the end of the day, I think we need a wee bit better performances. We need to show, we need to get back into the groove of things, especially getting into these Champions League games. There's no mugs in these Champions League games, and we need to make sure we're at our optimum. We need to make sure we're at our very best if we're going to qualify for the playoff stages. Young boys haven't been great, but as I say, they've qualified for the Champions League, so they're no mugs. So we need to make sure that we're up to our very best, and it's absolutely monumental that we qualify for these playoff stages, because it can be kind of massively beneficial for kind of both confidence and financial wise that we get back on form and kind of get into these playoff stages. For me.
Yeah, obviously, Ryan, before we touch on the kind of Champions League side of things as well, as Alan's mentioned there, I mean, obviously he talks about young boys there, but young boys are out of the Champions League at this stage, so they can't. I know they've been in the qualification, but they've not won a game, so they've been battered for pillar to post in most of their games that they've played. But they are out. They're coming to Celtic Park, knowing that they can't qualify. So we don't know what kind of side's going to turn up. Are they going to play a weekend side just to concentrate on the league campaign to get them some sort of domestic success? We don't know that yet. But obviously, touching on what the lads were saying there, in terms of Celtic, the way they're going, and then obviously the Dundee game Friday night, mate.
The first half was all right. If Bernardo scores that chance, then you're probably going to win the game. I think that was 1-0. All he's got to do is stand still. And he did it, and it's in. But again, it's harder.
Or header it downwards.
But again, it's harder to see when you're not at the game. You don't know really how quick the cross has gone. You don't know how he's timed it. But Adam Eder, for me, he's got to throw himself at that. That's criminal, JP. And I don't think he gets spoken about enough. That's terrible. He's shot himself. He's shot it. He's seen a goal come and shot himself. And like a number 9 at Celtic, that's not on. You've got a bit of balls about you and go through it. Sorry if the goal is injured, but the most important thing is that ball in the back of the net. And he didn't do it. He's obviously seen the goal coming and thought, oh no, I'm not going for that. Criminal, that's the facts. And again, that gets him a goal, it gets him confidence, it gets you in the game. But then because of that, it's already put in the back burner because he's missed a chance before that. So it's wee small things that build up for especially strikers as well. But you score them, you've won the first half comfortably, and then, as Baz said, you can make a few changes. If it's bringing on Scales for Thursday or whatever, you can make changes. 5 for Taylor earlier. There's loads of things you can do if you kind of get the game done early doors. But second half was pretty poor for your standards. I know you're saying about the amount of games and stuff, but the amount of games doesn't make you be strong and win a ball. That's terrible for Thursday at that level. It's not good enough. And obviously Brendan's reaction told you the story, and his interview after it told you the story. So I'd probably imagine he'd have got a locking in the dressing room. But once that locking's done, we've all been there, we've all made mistakes. You know what you've done. It only takes 1 or 2 people to tell you, and you go, right, okay, I understand. But I don't know if it's a mentality thing with Thursday, because that's twice now that when he's made a mistake, he's made mistakes after that. It happened with Scales as well at Ibrox. So at Celtic, even at level Baz is playing it, you need to have a mentality. You make a mistake, right? It's done, get on with it. You need to then move on. You can't dwindle on it. And he probably should have took him off after that. People might think that's maybe going to destroy him, but keep him on the parts destroying him, because he's making more mistakes after it. It happened at Ibrox. And it happened with Scales at Ibrox, and he kept him on. That's when the managers go to use his game management, his experience. Right, he's not playing well, he's not confident, I need to take him off.
I think obviously a slight difference with Scales there, Ryan. Scales was giving passes away, whereas with Austin Trusty was physically being manoeuvred out the way for a ball. Scales wasn't being physically battered. The
both of them are the same, because getting the ball away is just as brutal as no chance, because that goal.
No, listen, I appreciate that. I do, but I'm talking about the isolation with the corner, where the lad beats him in the air for the corner, and you know,
different scenarios. But Trushy's got to be better. Tell you what, as well, Big Casper can't get away with either. He's got to be better as well for that in the box as well. He was terrible for the goal at Ibrox as well. But because he's been that good, we can't criticise him. Because of winning games, you can't criticise him. He's got to do better as well. But I think it's hard to not be critical in isolation. But overall, we can't be too critical because, as Baz says, we are still winning games, but we can't. I personally feel it's complacency. I think it's because we're too far ahead and maybe they're no busting their chops as much and they're no trying, but it's just no full pelt as it was being. I guarantee you if that was 3 points in it last night, other night, we wouldn't even 3-0, 4-0. I think it's a wee bit of complacency sitting in, and I think that's where you need to add players, you need to add freshness, and I'm going to agree with Baz and Alan there. I do think you need to try and play your best team. Obviously refresh the odd player, but we've seen it with Ange as well when we lost games when he was here. We got beat because he was changing too many players. So that's telling you something. Make changes when need be, but if the players at 80%, play them for 60 minutes, take them off. But I think we'll be fine the rest of the season. But I do think we need to stop at the bud. Like Baz says, a record's no great, 1-4. It's no great for a club like Celtic. You're conceding 3 away to Dundee. That's no good enough. People might go, they're in the same league as you, and it's no entitlement, it's standards. Celtic should not be conceding 3 goals away to Dundee. It just shouldn't be happening. And like Baz says as well, the goals are too easy. I don't mind somebody on a World Day or doing a really nice piece of playing, all right, we've been beat, but sometimes you need to defend better. But I think it's a massive game for us tomorrow now, a cup game as well, because
every game's a massive game though, isn't it? It's just the way, the nature of the beast at
Celtic Park. There'll be a decent crowd as well, on TV, Premier Sports, so it's about getting back on track and getting back on the winning trail, because we don't want to actually get a victory, draw. You want to try and go a wee run again, because that breeds confidence, and let's just hope we can continue that tomorrow.
Yeah, but as obviously the lads have touched on Big Austin Tuesday. How do you see it yourself, mate? Do you see it as do you think he's still going through some sort of an adjustment period here, coming to Scotland? It's a wee bit more physical up here than maybe what he's used to before. I know there's probably no much he can defend in what we've seen the other night. He's definitely got to do better. But I can't help but think he's no long in the door. So, and like the lads have said, he's done okay for us, and he's gave us moments where we go, hey, this big fella looks like a player here. So it's a bit hard to just. Maybe I don't want to write him off after just one night, but Chris Julian had a poor night against Lyndon Dykes and got him his move. So, in my opinion, I see a kind of similar night for Austin Trusty there, and that wasn't a plastic pitch.
No, I think Austin Trusty's been really good since he come. I know the other night really, really poor. Obviously, you can have half days as a defender, and I think what surprised me as Celtic fans the other night about it was he's been strong as an ox all season. Maybe he's been a bit slow in the ball and maybe done the odd dodgy pass here and there in his time since he's been at Celtic Park, but I think he's defended solid and been really, really strong and physical and commanding. And I think that's what shocked the Celtic fans the other night, because he wasn't that the other night. He was everything. He was everything else bar that. So he got physically beat up the other night, which surprised everybody. But it's like we said, it's one game. I've been impressed with him. I thought he's done really well since he came in. He surprised me in a way, because I was a bit wary about the price tag that we paid for him. So I wasn't too sure, but I thought he hit the ground running, done really well, and looked as if he had cemented that spot next to Carter Vickers. And listen, because he's had one bad game, I'm not saying that there's no way I'll sit here and say he needs to be dropped and we need to put skills back in. I still think Austin Trusty's the best partner to Carter Vickers, but that can't happen the other night. So if you're a manager, you're looking at it, and if you're a player and you're Liam Scales, you're looking to be back in on Saturday for the game tomorrow, because that's what football's all about. If you don't perform, somebody's there waiting to take your position, and especially at Celtic, you've got a lot of good players who are just waiting for people to make mistakes, and hopefully they get a chance, and then that's how people get in teams and go on a run of games. So I wouldn't write him off, because I've been impressed with him. He's surprised me, but the other night was a poor performance. I think physically he got dominated really with Simon Murray. I think he probably thought he had more time, because normally we play teams and they sit off and But fair play to that Simon Murray, he never stopped running, he never gave them a minute's peace all night, and that shouldn't really be enough to cause Celtic centre half problems. JP is somebody just running about and being a nuisance. You need to do a bit. You need to have a bit more than that to score goals against Celtic's defence. And I think the other night they scored goals through being aggressive and probably wanting it more. It wasn't really down to quality. It was just being aggressive and wanting to get to the ball or wanted to win the ball more than our players.
Yeah, there's no doubt, Baz. I think Bernardo hitting the bar, I think, slightly changes the game because Dundee just get a lift for it. I think if that goal goes in, we're maybe talking about a different game now, because I think Celtic going in, if that's the setting, Celtic going in, you know, the way we started the game, we look McCown's header, and then if that goes in, and Ryan, you mentioned he does chance, either clips that over the goalkeeper, it goes to 3-0. We're talking about a completely different game there. And that's how quickly, lads, football changes. Split seconds. And then a team goes, oh, we've missed that, so you might drop in your level, and then the other team get a big lift on their side. And for me, I thought Dundee got a big lift from that. But Alan, obviously, moving on to tomorrow, mate. Scottish Cup, 5:30 kickoff, Celtic Park, a Kilmarnock side. We don't really know what we're going to get, do we? Because Kilmarnock have been a yo-yo team this season. They've been up and down. They've made an addition to Calvin Ramsey, lad up for Liverpool, former player of St Johnstone. So, what are you expecting yourself?
It was probably one of the most difficult draws we could have got. When you look at this early stage of the Scottish Cup, you know...
We didn't draw, mate, the game tomorrow.
Aye. Don't jinx us, we might draw. I know.
Sorry, it's going to extra time and penalties every day.
Well, coming out the hat is probably the fixture that maybe we could have avoided. You look at past years, we've gone past in Scottish Cup early rounds, we've seen the likes of KILLIE, East Kilbride, etc. I think the team across the water, is it Fraserburgh they're playing? So we have got a pretty...
Sunday, 2:30 as well, 2:15 or something.
So it's a pretty tough draw for this stage of the Scottish Cup. But you know what you're getting with a Kilmarnock side. I know they've been kind of dipping in form and kind of yo-yoing, but you're always getting a kind of well-organised side with Derek McInnes. Physical usually as well. Well-drilled. So you're thinking at Celtic Park that we should be able to kind of win comfortably, you'd think. But... as we've been talking about, we need to up the performance. We need to make sure the individuals are playing to their pomp. We need to make sure that whoever's playing, whoever's starting in the first 11, make sure they're kind of playing at the best of their ability. Because when you look at the last number of weeks, you're struggling to kind of see when we've put a kind of full performance together for 90 minutes. Maybe apart from the semi-final of the League Cup against Aberdeen, the game against Leipzig, there's been kind of 45 minutes here and there that we have played kind of pretty well, but I'm struggling to think of 90 minutes that we've put a kind of complete performance together. Apart from that, obviously the results have still been pretty decent, but high performance level, that's what the more I'd like to see is kind of put out a full strength side and kind of put out a really good performance and kind of give us that confidence kick ahead of a massive game during the week for kind of the team and the club financially. So I'm looking forward to tomorrow. I don't think we can play much worse in that second half against Dundee. So I'm hoping that we kind of put out a very strong side, and I would expect the way kind of Kilmarnock's set up, especially coming to Celtic Park, they're usually kind of low block, usually physical, try to slow the game down, break it up. So I would hope that we've got enough quality there to kind of win comfortably, and we'll see what happens tomorrow.
Yeah, Ryan, obviously your own take, mate, on the game tomorrow.
Obviously it's vital to take through the next round of Scottish, and Alan's probably right. It's probably one of the toughest games you could have got, even though it's at Celtic Park. But Kilmarnock, like you said, mate, you don't know what you're going to get with them. 1 minute.
Hope your big, by the way, I hope your big mate's comfortable in that cupboard tonight. You better be right as rain for tomorrow. Don't you be putting the music on till late tonight.
I've told him to say after bleaching nights, a decaf coffee tonight, so...
He's tag teamed to a trusty in there now.
I've got Yang in the cupboard and all with me.
Big Austin talks about his ball and chain. He's talking about Ryan, he's not talking about his missus.
Get Yang in the washing machine.
No, I think it is probably one of the toughest games you could have probably got, mate, even not at home. And like you say, it's Kilmarnock. You don't know what you're going to get with them. They're up and down. One week they're decent, and then next week they're really, really poor. So again, they'll have hopes as well to obviously get foot in that round for financial reasons as well for them, because a lot of these clubs, it's about financial reasons as well. I know it's no brilliant money, but if it's an extra 40, 50 grand for them, that could be them between a player or whatever else. So it's good for them through as well. But I'm probably going to agree with Alan as well, and what Baz was saying, that a performance is probably due. We're due a right, I don't want to say part of somebody, but we're due a right good performance, a proper Celtic performance, especially Celtic Park. Obviously, the victory is the most important thing, but you want a performance, because it happened last year. We were still winning, but no performing. And then eventually through that, we've got 3 or 4 or 5 games, we weren't playing well. Don't want it to happen again. I really hope it doesn't happen again, because if it does happen again, then you're going, all right, 10, 7, 4. Can't happen again. You want to keep going. This is why driving is really important. And I don't know. My opinion is that the young boys game, you've still got to have a contingency plan of transfers, right? But I think the young boys game will trigger maybe a bigger sign if it's get Tierney back on full time on loan, then or whatever, or it's signing a winger for 10 million or whatever. I think they'll maybe waiting to that to see what players are going to come, because having the rest of Scotland for 6 months, or having the potential 2 playoff games and potentially the last 32 or 16, whatever it is, that's for me, that's a massive tick the box. Europe or 6 months in Scotland, it's an added bonus to a player coming here. So I'd imagine I'm trying to something maybe before then just to help the squad, but I think it might all hinge. Just my opinion. I don't know anything. It's just my hunch that because of how slow it's been 2 weeks and a bit now, well, 16 days or so. No, nothing really, just rumours about considering deals and this and that. So can't see anything signed by tomorrow or Sunday. The game's on Wednesday, so I'm probably going to say you'll probably see a bit of flurry of signings after Wednesday, depending on what happens. But I don't think some fans realise, for me, how big this game is, because no matter what we've done so far, you don't win on Wednesday. Potentially, you might get beat at Villa. You might not qualify. For me, that's a disaster.
I think we're still in a position where a draw, actually. We're fine with a draw.
Could be. But ideally, I think if we don't beat young boys, I know it's European football, and we can't be claiming to beat anybody easily, because we're still no a big household name in terms of European football, in terms of results and qualifying. But if we can't beat a team that's got like minus 20 or 30 goals in the competition, we're sitting 9th in, I think it's at the Swiss League. It's pretty disappointing if we can't beat them at Celtic Park. And then if you don't win that, then get a draw against them, you don't really deserve to qualify. So you've done all the hard work. So this is where a wee bit of step up now, get that victory, and then you're going to Aston Villa, also still trying to win, but you can be a bit more relaxed. But if you get beat, okay, it's not going to be a determined qualifying. So it gives the players a bit of relaxation as well. But obviously get them all done first. But you expect a performance, mate, and hopefully that'll be the case.
Yeah, obviously tomorrow's the most important one just now, before we even start thinking about young boys and Aston Villa and so on and so on. Obviously yourself, Baz, what's been your take on Kilmarnock this season, mate, and obviously what you expecting from tomorrow's game?
They've been probably, the boys have touched on already, up and down. You don't know what Kilmarnock you're going to come up against tomorrow. They've had a bit of an up and down season, probably by their standards. From last year, they're disappointed with a league position. I know they've had a few injuries to the strikers up front, Vassell and people like that are out for a while, so they'll miss him. He's a big physical presence for them, and I think he was a captain as well, so he's a big miss for them. But what we've said loads of times on here, maybe if it was away from home on that AstroTurf, then you start to worry a wee bit with the result. But they shouldn't be able to stop us from getting through the Mora. They're like Alan said, it's probably one of the toughest draws, and I do get that because it's early doors, and like you said, there's loads of teams in the lower leagues that we could have got, but we've got KILLIE at home. But listen, Celtic shouldn't be. It's probably a good thing in a way, because see if it was a League One or even lower, a League Two team or something like that, then there would have been changes tomorrow, and I think Celtic need to play the strongest team tomorrow to start getting into a rhythm before these Champions League games. So it's probably as good that we're playing Kilmarnock, and you can't really take it too lightly. So I think we need to go strong, and hopefully by going strong, that gets the performance and gets a bit of confidence in for the game on Wednesday night. Because, like Ryan touched on there, if you don't win that and you lose it, and you go to Villa Park, it's all the best, and that can start to things like that. It's only small things like that. If we don't make that the 2-leg game in the Champions League to get through, the season could slowly start to get interesting. That's how seasons turn on things like that. Fans start to get the ump because we're at the Champions League, and then it's a different pressure completely then. But no, I think the Mora should be comfortable. They're due a performance, and like Alan said, a 90-minute performance would be nice. But I can only see us going through the Mora. I can't see it being close, but you never know. But hopefully Celtic turn up and we win quite convincingly and get the confidence up for this game Wednesday night, because that's the big game.
Yeah, I do agree. Obviously, tomorrow, well, for me, tomorrow's the most important, the next one, but I agree with Ryan as well, lads. I think Wednesday cannot be underestimated by any percent whatsoever. It could be the biggest game of the season for us, actually, in a sense. Because if we get that, I think, Alan, you were speaking today on the phone, mate, it's something in the regions between 10 to 11 million, you know, just that to make that next stage. I mean, that is, there's no other club in Scotland going to have an opportunity at this stage of the season to have that incoming to their club.
So as well. See, when you look at, like Ryan speaking about the kind of the transfers that we can attract, when you look at the kind of players, I'm sure that we could possibly be drawn against an Atletico or Real Madrid. Imagine saying to a player that we're trying to get in, look, you're going to have a 2-legged game against kind of some of Europe's elite. There's no bigger kind of carrot that you could dangle in front of players. Obviously wages, etc. But you're saying you're going to be playing at Europe's top table here against some of the best teams in Europe. Here you go. That is a massive carrot to dangle in front of players that you want to bring into the club.
Yeah.
And I think if we win this game on Wednesday, that could be fundamental and kind of a massive attraction in bringing in players that we wish to bring in.
Yeah, 100%. Ryan, that can make all the difference in the end when you're looking at the bigger picture. Because like you says, mate, later down the window, but it been getting into the last week of the window, you make that next stage of the Champions League, then all of a sudden agents start to get in touch. They start to, you know, putting feelers out. And before you know it, this is just I've not heard anything by any means, everyone that's watching and you guys that are tuning in. I've not heard a thing. I'm giving this as an example. Then all of a sudden, Manchester United say, listen, he's not going to be a part of our plans. And Christian Eriksen becomes available. And Celtic might want to do a deal thinking, we could use a guy like that. We could have a bit of quality like that on our side. You know, someone of that ilk could become available. And with
Barry Bannan.
well, by the way, you took the words right out of my mouth. And I didn't want to say Barry Bannan because I'd have probably upset quite a lot of the Sheffield Wednesday fans. Do you know what I mean? But what I will say is, if I ever did happen and Barry Bannan's agent is watching us, and that does happen, don't forget to mention this podcast when you mention the contract talk start, mate, right? But
I don't need to put in Twitter tomorrow. I'm not leaving.
aye.
Barry signs in the 40s or still there with a scarf. Like, yes, come on.
Barry, it's not called Wolf of Wall Street, it's called Barry of Sheffield Street. I'm not leaving. Story me sitting that on. I'm not leaving.
Brilliant.
Brilliant. Absolutely true. Superb. But no, I'm just giving that as an example in terms of what could possibly happen, Ryan, coming down to the end of the window. And that is a distinctive possibility, by the way.
Aye, well, obviously a lot of teams they'll decide probably end of January whether or no some players are going to be playing with them or no, or some guys are, if they're going out loan, transfers or whatever, getting released, whatever. I know January's not as big as the summer, but you might get the odd loan deal available, somebody that ilk, potentially near the end of the window. But for me, there's going to be agents talk all the time in January, because I've got a feeling that it's actually Greg Taylor's agent that's putting feelers out for him. There's Zagreb, there's QPR, there was Transport, I think. So I think that's his agent that's putting feelers out.
I've seen the Crab Sonsport one today, actually. That's hilarious. Who's getting in there to replace, apparently.
And there'll be, because that's...
Big Bobby Boucher, the water boy, big backsticks Borna, man. He's getting bulleted and Greg Taylor's getting in to replace him. Superb. That's what I read today.
Obviously, you've got Kyogo. He changed agency, so there'll be feelers for him kicking about eventually. So it happens when about the summer to some players. It's not just Celtic players. It happens up.
Can I just say, by the way, before we didn't mean to offend them, to offend these against people of size, or it's a figure of speech here, Ryan, saying we Kyogo. Just in case the wee man is watching and you've just he's dropped his dinner there listening to you, you know what I mean?
I'd be very surprised if a wee man was on the couch watching us. If it does brilliant, that'd be
very surprised. About they're all in the Dakota. They're all in the Dakota.
I thought he was getting the Wonder Bar at 11 o'clock.
No, Yang knew John was commenting tonight, so Yang's got to get a big telly on in the boardroom.
Yang should sell sports socks for £1.
Standing on the edge of the air, mate, just giving a big wave like that. Come over if you want new socks.
Try to get a bank loan. What's your business model?
The logo behind it. These may make your feet comfy, plus make you run faster. Somebody shooting, Yang, will you start wearing them, man?
No, but I do think it's going to be like that, but the IP this summer, January, it's always the same with agents near the end of the window. Obviously, if as I'm no sale in the game, that's what agents do if your clients are looking for a club and stuff. So, no, I think again, it's just my opinion. I do think a lot of the deals will be no depending on the young boys game, but there'll be one or two that might get triggered, like Alan says, with the prospect of the carrot dangling with European football, because some of these teams might not win European football, they might not win the Champions League. So it's a step. I don't want to say a stepping stone, but it's another step in people's careers to come to Celtic, playing the playoffs, and because that again, that could be a reason how Tierney might escalate getting here loan, knowing the fact that he might be in the playoffs as well with Celtic. So there's loads of things that might impact this game, but I do agree with Baz as well. You don't want to no win that game, and then you've got to Aston Villa probably having to win. It's going to be a massive task, no matter how well they're no doing or what they're doing. It's going to be very hard to go into Aston Villa and get a result. It can happen, but you don't want to pin all your hopes in that, because you want a cushion just in case. So, listen, I think strengthening is a must. I don't think it's just one player. I think we need 2 or 3 just to add a bit of freshness, a bit of quality. Add competition, because some of these boys, again, I'm not going to say they're no trying or they're just taking it easy, but some of them will be complacent. I think because of how far it is, and they're playing, some of them are playing every week and not really getting chopped and changed. So sometimes a bit of competition, like Valley came in for Taylor, helped his game a wee bit. Engels just now came in, so guys like Bernardo need to play, attacking need to train harder. So maybe a first striker up front, just Kenny get out back at loan, if we get another right back, goalkeeper, whatever. There's always a position to strengthen, but I do think it might depend on the European game, mate, but that's just my opinion.
No, I think you're bang on. I think you're onto something there, mate. I think it could have a big dependence on the height transfer recruitment could possibly go to. I do think Celtic will have an ongoing plan, whereas one or two of the signings that might be coming in, those deals will be well down the line by now. I mean, those guys will know who they are. However, it's a matter of time now in terms of when we manage to get the deals over the line.
I think we could enhance the business we do, basically.
Yes, I think that's the best word to use, Alan. I think that's a good word to use, mate, in terms of enhancing. It could even let us add one or two more to make us even stronger. Obviously, Baz, we've just seen it go crazy for the last 24 hours. Obviously, Ryan, not just a pretty face on the podcast, but managing to keep up his personality off the podcast, and he's managed to hook up a nice wee bond with Fabrizio Romano. And not only that, but him and Fabi Boy are now best of buddies, and they reply to one another on Twitter.
Both of them are
so it's a worst kept secret that Fabrizio will let the cat out of the bag in a reply to Ryan that Kieran Tierney is definitely going to be signing for the club, mate. What's your thoughts on that?
Amazing. I think he's obviously been he's been there, done it with us before. Went and moved to Arsenal and had a good run at the start, but injuries and stuff kind of set him back a wee bit, and ended up not probably playing as much games as he wanted to there. But I wouldn't say he's went down and failed. He's still in my eyes, top level left back in the world. So I think it's a no-brainer. If he wants to come back and we can get him, then it's definitely a no-brainer. Greg Taylor's done really well, obviously, since KT's been away. But I think you see with the national team that there's levels, and KT's probably a couple of levels above Greg Taylor. So he's definitely going to come in. And the thing is now, I don't want to see Celtic buying people who are going to come in and sit in the bench. I want to see Celtic buy players who are going to come into that starting 11. Otherwise, there's no point really, because we've got enough strength in numbers. We need quality, and you can't sit still. And if you look at it really, apart from Kuhn and maybe Trusty, but does Trusty play every week? No. And Arne Engels maybe, but there's only probably two players that's really held down a starting 11 that's changed the team in the last 3, 4, 5 years. It's been the same boys doing the same jobs for the last couple of years now. We've not really brought MD in apart from Nicholas Kuhn, and look what that does to you. It takes you to another level. So they're the type of people that you're going to have to sign. It's not going to be players that are just to come in and be happy to sit in the bench and play the odd game, i.e. your Luke McCowans. You need people who are going to come in and deserve to play and should play, because that's the only way we're going to progress to the next level. Because if you look at the team now, where they are compared to the team with Jotas and people like that, and Aaron Moyes and Matt Riley, are we better off now? I wouldn't say we are, to be honest. I would say that Celtic team with Moy and Matt Riley and Jota, Kyogo, I think that team was better than this Celtic team now. So if we keep talking about Champions League and trying to do something in the Champions League, I think the signings need to be people like Kieran Tierney's who are going to come in and start. Otherwise, we're not really going to progress.
Yeah. Just touching on the Aaron Moy, and interesting fact, Aaron Moy actually kept Matt O'Reilly out of the Celtic team for a while when both of them were together. So, I mean, it just shows you, in terms of levels there, Aaron Moy was exceptional. And unfortunately for Aaron, he ended up with a bad injury that he had to then retire for the game. But as much as Matt O'Reilly then went on and was really loved by all the Celtic fans and became quality, and he's now a record transfer out the club. It's remarkable to think that a guy we brought free of charge didn't have to pay any transfer fee for him, and he came in and right away just implemented quality. And Alan, I do get what Baz is saying there in terms of the level of player that you need to be looking at. But Kieran Tierney, I mean, that's something again, mate, for us all to get our juices flowing and get us excited about. Brian's half 10 subscribers and everything's going up, man. It's magic, man. Absolutely magic. What was it you called it all night, Ryan? Pins and needles or something? What was it you said you had? Tingling feelings?
I got a wee tingly feeling that, that's what you call it, tingle in it.
That's usually about 11:15, is it no?
Half 10 brings out Big Ben.
Big Ben,
And by the way, before anybody thinks, that's not a cloak.
Big Ben.
It's bigger.
That's Big Ben. Aye.
So, but yeah, when you're touching upon just what you're saying there, JP, when you're touching upon,
I thought you were going on to tell us a bit more about his half 10 show there, Al.
No, I avoid that.
You're touching upon that.
See enough of man. But you're speaking about kind of Aaron Moy. That was in the kind of transition stage. Matt O'Reilly, he really just come in. He was starting to find himself. Obviously, he's got bags and bags of ability, but you always seen basically last year. You seen the proper Matt O'Reilly start to emerge. You seen the real quality start to come out. We don't know, maybe Aaron Moy was a big part of kind of Matt O'Reilly's growth. But when you're speaking about Kieran Tierney, there's only a couple of reasons that we're linked with somebody of that quality, and it's because his background with Celtic. And possibly the question marks that are hanging over his head with fitness. I think that's if he was kind of 100% fit, playing all the time, then there's not a chance in hell that Celtic would be able to kind of tempt Kieran Tierney back at this stage.
I think he's fit though, because he's been on Arsenal's bench now for numbers of weeks, so I think there's no doubt about his terms of fitness.
Over kind of the last couple of years, if he was getting linked with the likes of kind of Man City and Real Madrid when he was playing regularly a couple of years ago. So if you had that Kieran Tierney, that's what I'm saying. There's not a chance that we'd be able to kind of even think about tempting Kieran Tierney at that stage back. So there is question marks over Kieran Tierney, but if we can tick the boxes and get Kieran Tierney fit, if we could get him playing regularly, then it's an absolute no-brainer, because the guy's a world-class player and probably one of the best left backs I've seen in my lifetime. Even the best one in Scotland I've seen in my lifetime, I'd say. I think it's a no-brainer. I think hopefully that Brendan and the backroom side, they know what they're getting with Kieran. They know if it's kind of minor issues regarding whatever fitness Barry will be able to maybe delve into the bits and bobs of that further. But if we could get Kieran Tierney playing week in, week out, then for me, it's an absolute tremendous signing, and one that I think every Celtic fan will be massively excited about.
Yeah, 100%. Obviously, I'm Jimmy Cook. I can hear his rosary beads bouncing off his leg here. He's getting excited with the conversation of KT. Aye, but what do you think yourself, wee man, in terms of Kieran Tierney link?
I don't think there's any ifs or buts, mate. It's just David, you can't get him up the road. He's up, like Baz says, in Ireland, he's a world-class left back. And like Alan says, the only reason he's coming here is maybe he wants to come back home, but it's because he's obviously not playing as much at Arsenal. He's had some injuries, and there's a chance of getting him here in a pre-contract, with obviously via maybe a loan move to start off with. But it's an incredible bit of business to get him back, if that can get done, because to sell him for the money we've got, 25 million, you're going to get him back a better player. It's an absolute no-brainer, like the two guys have said there. It's an absolute no-brainer. He'll take Celtic up another level or two, maybe in 3 or 4 levels. Again, I might not be Greg Taylor's biggest fan, but he's done really well considering where he came from. He's fought off Bernabei, Bolingoli, and guys like that, and Bally as it stands now. So he's fought him off as it stands. So, but he's not going to fight off Kieran Tierney. We all know that. I think Greg will know that himself. He's no silly. He knows that he'll obviously need to step up himself. And again, by the way, if he stays Keith, he might help him. I know he's not helping. I know they're about the same age, but help him ability-wise. Like Greg Taylor will say, "Oh, look at him again. Oh, here we go. I need to get to that level," and it might help him. So it could be a reason for Greg Taylor to sign. Because let's be fair, is he going to work next to a left back like that anywhere else? No. But is he want to be happy? Let's be fair, I know Rodgers didn't say he's got first picks, but every manager's got guys that are going to play every week. And if Kieran Tierney's up to what we all feel he might be up to his full fitness, he's playing just about every week. Unless he says to the manager, listen, I need a wee rest, my hammy's sore, or I'm feeling tight, you need to manage me for a few weeks. Unless that happens, I don't know if that's the case, but is that you might need to manage him, how his injuries are, or we'll wrap the conversation. But for me, Baz, I think the two are right there, and JP's probably going to say it as well. But for me, Baz, it's a steal, mate. It's an absolute steal getting him for a week. I know he might get a few million sign on fee or decent wages, but as a whole package, mate, for me, it's an absolute. It's not even ifs or buts. It's get it done.
But see, before you just came in, obviously touching on what Big Alan was saying there quickly about the only reason we're getting Tierney back, he's a big Celtic fan, and the fact he's back down with Celtic. But is it not the case, mate, that he's coming back because he's definitely been promised to be the new lead singer of the Green Brigade when he retires?
That's part of the contract. That's what's holding it up.
Right,
He wants to be the lead singer. He's wanting to be the lead singer.
He's wanting to get
the microphone.
Aye, that's what I was going to say. He's wanting his own megaphone, and they want to keep using theirs, didn't they? That's right. No, on you go, Baz. I just thought I'd throw that in there.
Alan's spot on. I think the only reason we are getting him is because of how big a Celtic fan he is. Knowing him quite well, I know how much he loves Celtic. He's a bit similar to me. You obviously get footballers who like their clubs and then they become professional and start to not support them as much, but not as much as no support them, but don't have the same love. But I think it's different in Scotland when you grow up a Celtic and Rangers fan and you make it as a footballer. It's different to down here, where you could be a Man U fan, grow up and go and play for somebody else, and you tend to fall not away from Man U. They'll still be your team, but in Scottish where it's bigger. If you know what I mean, it's like you love Celtic no matter what you do. So I think that's played a big part in him coming back, because I wouldn't say he'd be short of offers. I know people are speaking about injuries, but I've trained with him for a long time at Scotland, and he was one of them players that could come out and just smash balls before warming up. He was fine. Like, there was nothing up with the boy. Fit as anything. Robust. Play every 90 minutes, not a problem. Never tired. But now, he's had a few bad injuries. It's no hamstring strains or groins, and he's had bad injuries through contact, and that's a completely different ballgame. You can't say somebody's injury prone because they're having these big injuries. If it's hamstring strains every couple of weeks and pulled groins, then aye. But that's not been Kieran Tierney's problem. He's had big major injuries, which the last one being he played for Scotland in the Euros, didn't he? And a really bad injury there. So and he's only just returned. But I've not got you can never say like it's never going to happen, but I wouldn't be surprised if Kieran Tierney signs and he plays every game to the end of the season, because he's that type of boy. He's a warrior, loves football, and obviously loves Celtic. So he'll it's an unbelievable bit of business for Celtic, to be honest, because I'd be surprised if there was the teams lining up to take him, even though we're speaking here saying but injuries, but there'll still be teams want to take him because the boy's a tap left back, and he's the old-fashioned left back as well, who will put a tackle in. We've been crying out for somebody who's going to be a physical presence for us. He's perfect. He's perfect.
He doesn't get Austin trusted off the ball, doesn't he?
No, but sometimes games need tackles as well, and he's no shy of tackles, so just to lift the rest of the team. So getting him back, not just quality on the pitch, but he's a leader. It's an unbelievable signing if we can get him back, and I'm just praying that it gets done before the end of January, because I think knowing him, he'll be dying to get back.
Yeah. Ryan, I know we had a wee chat there a week. It was just me and yourself. It was on the pod that night, and we said about the next captain. you know, in terms of who's it going to be after Callum. There's your perfect candidate right there if we can manage to get Kieran back in any way, shape or form. And as Alan says, some Celtic fans will be doubtful. Is he going to play a run of games? Is he going to come? I've even seen some Celtic fans say, great signing. However, could be a big gamble for us and could be, a big worry for us if something, he breaks down again and then it's a lengthy spell he spends out. But I just think he's a prime candidate, mate, to be another captain.
Aye, because like I said that a few weeks ago, and people might think I'm being a bit premature with it, but Celtic will need to eventually plan for McGregor retiring or even leaving Celtic, whatever. Obviously, I hope it doesn't happen that he leaves Celtic, but Celtic will need to start planning. I'll say in the next 2 3 years, they'll need to have a wee inkling of somebody they're going to come in and mould. Or for me, I know people spoke about McKibben, but McKibben is never going to get to the level of McGregor's. I'll be really shocked. I think McKibben will get to a really good player, but for me, still McGregor's. I know we've got a few stats I'll put up near the end about McGregor and that and Eden and stuff, but McGregor's level's that's a wee tiny bit, right? But he's still the best in the league for Scotland. His stats still the best. So he's drafting due to age as well, and obviously the amount of games he's played over the years. That's got to take its toll on me. But McGregor's still up. Listen, I know he's had a wee bit of flack recently, and that's why obviously I'm going to put up again. I'm going to put up, but maybe the tape in the odd game, but he's still got to get majority of games because of the player he is. He's an absolute standout most weeks, and it's not just the ability of him, it's the mentality of McGregor. It's the mentality to beat this club. Like maybe some guys have no go to play at the level, and that's why he's playing at the level. And Kieran Tierney, for me, Baz is spot on. See the game at Ibrox, he wouldn't have accepted that. He'd be making a tackle 3-0 down or 2-0 down, and in the dressing room, I'm not going to say he'd be fighting people, but he'd be telling people all about it. Listen, that's good enough. And we've maybe got one or two of them, but it's all right saying Schmeichel has that, or Greg Taylor's got that, or McGregor's going in abundance, but Tierney's a Celtic fan. And like Baz says, sorry, Vickers doing it, but it means better Tierney, and it will be Vickers. I know that might sound stupid, but it will, because of who he is, and he's brought up in it, and so having that in your dressing room, man, it's, for me, it's massive. It's basically a captain, but without the armband. So for me, mate, it's like Baz says there, it's not even, I don't see what the doubt is. I've said it on this numerous times the last few weeks. What's the doubt? Injuries happen to every player. It could happen. I can get injured walking across the road.
There's always risk for any player, Ryan. But when you weigh up the risk reward, the reward far outweighs the risk when you look at Taylor.
I don't see how.
The reward's massive.
I don't see how it's a gamble. You're not paying a transfer fee. You might give him this boy.
I'm just saying it's a gamble, so I can see that. But as I say, the reward factor in that, you're weighing up the pro and cons. And the pros for me with Kieran Tierney, if you could get him playing in the ability
to that gamble,
then it's
you're
massive.
Not paying £5 million from him, or £3 million like Burnley. I know you're paying a Bosman fee, right? But you will pay a Bosman fee for a free contract, or right? But you're not going to pay like £3 million up front and then give him like 45 grand of wages. And then if he fails, just go, oh, he's failed. But he's a free transfer, basically.
You're probably going to be paying Arsenal a loan fee if he's going to come here. You're talking £3 million probably. So
Paz, you might tell us different, but for me, that loan fee is probably going to cover his wages. Maybe it might not, but I've seen people on Twitter saying he's going to lose at £3 million. If he goes on loan to Celtic don't pay his wages. He might pay 10% or 20%, but Arsenal still pay the wages. He's their player. So they might come to agreement at 10%, 5%. Apparently, he's won 100 grand a week, right? So Celtic can't pay that, so they might pay 10% or whatever it is. But so he's not losing out any money. He's still getting paid with Arsenal. He'll come to Celtic on loan, get game time, and then he'll sign in the summer. He'll get a wee Brucey bonus, and then he'll take a wage cut. So it's probably going to cover his money he's going to be getting at Arsenal for the rest of his deal. So for me, I don't know what you think you're at, Baz, but for me, I don't see the gamble.
Say he's on 100 grand a week. He's probably clearing just over 200 grand, so he's got 6 months left his contract. You're probably paying 1.5 million if you want to take the rest of his contract out. That could happen. That could be what they're speaking about. We sign him on a pre-contract, but we're not going to pay a fee now. We'll just take the rest of his contract there till the summer. So that would be 1.5 million. And for me, that's not a gamble, to be honest, because if you're paying for 1.5 million the rest of his wages to the end of the season, if that's what he's on, it's a no-brainer. You've got a player, world-class left-back for 1.5 million to the summer. And then, say he does get injured, and then you've got a decision in the summer, do we actually give him another contract? But you're only paying 1.5 million to
You
to
think
have him
better
to-
that for ball and goalie to go to Benidorm with a bird, didn't you? You know what I mean? So, aye.
But no,
Me
I
man-
kind of, it's a no-brainer, to be
Me
honest.
man was
with
on
me.
a fag run, man. I never tell him during COVID, man, and get caught.
No, I think I'm agreeing, mate. I know, Jackie, you're the same, mate. For me, I get people's wee niggles about, well, I don't know, but we can't sign that quality. Nobody in Scotland can sign that quality player unless it is a free transfer. Like, see, to be fair, I know it's not a comparison, but Aaron Ramsey for Rangers, right? The only reason they got him is because he was out of favour at Juventus and he was able to get him on loan for a decent wee fee. Similar to us, I know it's different players, positions, and everything else, but it's the same as us. We can pay £2 million, 1.5 for Tierney, get him in, but we know he's going to succeed. We all knew that Aaron Ramsey was. Listen, people are going to say, "Oh, Ryan, what are you talking about it for?" But you see snippets of the quality that he's got.
Aye.
Aaron Ramsey was a top player. Mate, don't make any bones about it. He just came to him when he knew he was. I'm not going to say he was finished, but injuries have caught up with him, and he seemed wee flashes of what he could bring, but overall, we all know it was a failure, right? But it's a similar to that mould, like Baz says, you pay 1.5, whatever it is, to the end of the season. For me, it's no a gamble at all. I think it's a tremendous bit of business for the club, and I'd like to think that Brendan's got a massive part in it, because I know we've seen a wee photo of him speaking. Probably imagine he's maybe said to him, "All right, me man, what you doing? We doing in January, we doing in summer," because we all know what happens. So, but for me, I think Barry's decent, right? And some of these think Taylor's decent. Wait to see Kieran Tierney come in, and then you'll see exactly how good some of these
No, we
boys
all
are.
remember. Obviously, we all remember Tierney. Do you know what I mean? He's better than the for him. So
But
there's
he's got
no.
bridge, I think he's probably better now, but that's what I'm
No,
saying.
he is probably a better player now because he's probably had to seriously learn and go up a level in terms of his ability to handle the way he handled down there as well. When he was playing with top players like Aubameyang and guys all in about like Saka and having to train against these guys every day. So it's a no-brainer, mate, that he's, it's funny you should say ball and goalie because there's still photos of him up in the Savoy's War. Apparently he was up there selling 20 decks of Marlborough Light for €5. That was his side earner when he was up here at Parkhead. He wasn't earning enough wages because he wasn't playing. But, as I say, mad ball and goalie. Remember him, man? That was mental.
It was, by the way, there was the odd games he was actually no bad at. He was, like,
He was
brilliant.
actually good. He was good at the game at Ibrox when we went there and El Hamid played on the other side.
Aye.
The two of them were good that day. I remember that. That was very good. But coming to a point now where... Aye. Outside Alton Towers in the queue. But coming to the time of the show tonight where I'm going to ask you for a team tomorrow. So I'll start with you, Baz. Obviously, what do you think the Celtic team will be tomorrow?
I think it'll be Casper in goal, Alistair Johnson right back, Carter Vickers, Liam Scales and Greg Taylor. I think the midfield three will be McGregor, Engels, Hatati and Maeda Kyogo Kun.
Interesting. Alan, your teammate?
I think that maybe barring Trusty and Scales is probably our strongest side. So I don't know what Brendan's going to do tomorrow. I know Brendan seemed rather angry, but I've got a funny feeling he might just stick with Trusty and just kind of back him because he has been a decent player. He has done very well since he came in. Just one performance has never put that off. So I'm going to go with basically the same team as Barry. With Casper, Johnston, Carter Vickers, Trusty. That's my only dodgy one I'm thinking. Whether Hammer Scales, Taylor. I think Callum, Engels, Hatati, Maeda, Kun, and Kyogo.
Okay. Ryan?
Aye, same team as what Baz was saying. I think he will take Trusty out. I just think the way he reacted after the game and what he was saying, I don't think he'll put him back in. I think he'll maybe give him a week or so to get at it and kind of basically say you can't make game mistakes here or you're out of the team. So again, I've been wrong before, I'll be wrong again, but I think Scales will play, and I think the rest it will. I think the rest will be the same. I think the midfield three. Now I like Bernardo a lot. I think he's going to be a really tremendous player. But again, I just think he's unlucky that Engels is going. I think Engels is going to start coming into being a really good player. Tati, hopefully, he's due a big performance as well. He's not been great the last few weeks. He's due a big performance. But we all know for me, when everybody's on it, I think that's your best three. Even Bernardo's brilliant, but I think that's your best three, mate. And I think the wee man will be up front as well. With Kuhn back in my head. And I think you'll actually see a bit more attacking facing creativity with they two back in, because again, it's no disrespect to Yang and Palmer and stuff like that, but when they two together with Kyogo, it's normally a different animal with Celtic Park. So I'd imagine that'll be the teammate, and I can't see any more changes in that personally.
Yeah, I think I'm going to agree with Alan. I don't think Trusty comes out of the team. I think he'll keep a big fella there. So I think it'll be the same team, barring I don't think Scales will play. And if he does take Trusty out of the team, again, I'm not against that personally, but I don't think Trusty will come out of the team for that long. I do think he'll play against young boys also. So I don't think he'll keep him out of the team too long if he does take him out of the team. I know Brendan was angry, and I know, but I would imagine, knowing Brendan as a manager, I think the two of them will have had a long chat and maybe, done McEwen Scales done earlier in the season, Ryan, and just had a cuddle and sorted a few things out. And I think the team will be Casper, AJ, Taylor, Carter Vickers, Trusty, and I think the midfield will be McGregor, Engels, Hatate. I think it'll be Maeda, Kuhn and Kyogo. I think that'll be the starting team. The way you see this, knowing Brendan, he's probably going to give us Sinasalo and Paul Telfer it.
Stefan
Bones and big Oliver Tebley or something like that, big Paul Elliott at the back or something. It'll be something mental. No, I think, and I'm expecting a good performance for the team as well. I'm expecting Celtic to really lay down a bit of authority tomorrow at Celtic Park. It's at 5:30. It's a good time as well. So I would imagine the players will be right up for that. A lot of fans going to the game will probably be a lot merrier as well at that time because they've been in the pubs before it. And so yeah, I do think, Ryan, I know you want to touch on something before we finish up, mate. So
it's just obviously
I don't know if you've noticed, mate, but I went in and edited it for you to give us a better view.
It's more again, mate. It's not got to be. I'm not wanting to be a debate or anything. I'm just wanting to put out. A lot of fans have been getting Adam Eder, maybe myself, a bit of stick, saying that he's not scored a lot of goals and his plays really regressed and stuff like that. So depending where you're believing stats or you're not believing stats or you believe your eyes, but on Adam Eder, as you showed JP, for last season to this season, if you can see that, as we can't see it, you'll be able to zoom in when in the show. But the Reds obviously for last season and the rest it's for this season, the blue and the purple. So his red is very high. So and his goals and his XGs and his shots at goal, they're all very high. So last year he came in and he was pretty good. This year his stats are pretty regressed, and for me it's pretty concerning. And it kind of tells the fans what the fans are saying is pretty right about him in terms of his regression. His XG's down. His shots at goals down, basically everything is regressing. Apart from the one that's really stayed the same is he's not really getting the ball away. So in terms of that, I can see why fans are concerned, JP. So again, it just depends whether your own stats or no. If you believe his stats or you believe in your own eyes. 9 times out of 10, the stats back up what your eyes are seeing. And I think in this one, it's kind of backing up what I've been seeing and what some of the fan base have been seeing. So they've got a wee bit of rightness to maybe no question the signing fully, but question him, his form at the moment, his confidence levels. He's definitely the same player. The data and stats are telling you that. So I think the fans are pretty right on that. But I'm me myself, I'm wanting to give him a bit more time, but I do believe that he's drastically going to change and improve, because I think if he doesn't JP, then there will be fans questioning the transfer fee, the signing, why have we signed him again? Because some fans did want him to come back, some fans didn't. Some of them don't know, fee depending, but it's. I think he's obviously the pressure of the transfer fee. He's obviously putting pressure himself, but I do believe that he's going to kind of pick his level up. Confidence will be, again, I've been a striker myself, confidence can hit you no scoring goals, but if you're not scoring goals, you need to do other things right. And if people say that his movement's good and he's doing this right, going to start and that's, he's no. So that'll obviously be looked at with Brendan. Brendan's obviously come out in my
You couldn't have
opinion.
done that if you tried there, by the way, the starter and that's.
Obviously,
You couldn't have done that if you tried.
Again, it's up for debate with yourself, lads. But if I know Brendan's come out and backed him and says he's basically, I don't need him to score this amount of goals, all my team score this scope of goals. For me, he's done that to back him because he knows he's under pressure with the fans. He's done it with Yang as well. He's come out and backed him, which is brilliant man management. But for me, I think he's got to improve a wee bit. Last season, he's got a wee bit of credit in the bank because of it. But that only gets you so far, and eventually he's then going to be a Celtic player now. Last year he was on loan. Sometimes loan players can be a bit more, how do I say it? No try harder, but they're buzzing to get a contract at the club that they want to play well, and maybe he's that been away bit because he knows he's got a long-term deal here, he's comfortable now, he's in the team, so, or is it just because his loan confidence and his games just knows much? I don't know, but again, it's up for debate, mate, where I know people agree with that or what you feel now does it stand, you know?
Yeah, but I'll put that one to you first, mate, because obviously Brendan's he's been waxing lyrical in some of his pressers regarding this, and obviously, you know, he's kind of palmed it off anytime he's been asked about Adam. He does goal scoring for him and anything else, but he's publicly backed him, and he's also said that Brendan can see that he's actively making a contribution. Now, whether that be not scoring goals or he's involved in build-up play and everything else. So, what's your take on that, mate?
He's going to back him. He's signed him for £9 million, so a manager's not going to come out and say he's striker in the public eye. There's no chance that would ever happen. But he's a striker, and he's our number 9, so he's paid at the end of the day to score goals. I know you can maybe look at strikers in the past who maybe get away with not scoring as much, but that's people like Firmino's and people like that. That's not what Adam Ida's doing for us. Like, Firmino was playing as a 9, but he wasn't really a 9, and the wingers were scoring all their goals because of Firmino. I know Ryan said there he's got a bit in the bank, but football moves on, mate. It doesn't matter what you done last year or 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. Football's all about the here and now, and I don't believe it. Obviously, if you've had a top career at a club, then maybe you have a wee bit in the bank, but he was on loan last year. I think he played 15 games, done really well or whatever it was, but this is a new season. It doesn't mean because you've won his cups and by scoring the winning goal and that, you can't rest. It's about the here and now, and we've actually spent a lot of money on him, so Brendan's going to back him up, of course he is, because it's his player, and as a manager you've got to do that, but he needs to start scoring goals at the end of the day. It doesn't matter how good his link-up play is or how hard he's working for the team. He was brought into Celtic to score goals for the club, and he's fell below that at the minute. I think he's went 12 games or something without a goal. That's worrying at Celtic, because the amount of chances that club are creating as well, week in, week out. 12 games is a long time without scoring, so it needs to happen now, because especially when you're at a big club like that, you don't get time. You can see the fans are starting to grumble a wee bit now. So he won't have much more games where he can get away with it. All it takes is an old firm game for him to have a bad game, and that's it. You're forgot about by the fans. Obviously, your manager's paid a lot of money for you, might be different, but he done a great job last season. But like I said, it's different now. There's a price tag on you. You're our player now. It's different pressures, and it's fair to say probably he's not lived up to the expectations. And he works so hard for the team. I watch him. He works hard, and it's nothing to do with his mentality. He wants to work hard. It's not really happening for him at the minute, whether it's a lack of quality or a lack of confidence. Who knows? I don't know the boy, but he's no lived up to the expectations for last season, and it's now January, so there's not going to be much more time for him, in my eyes, from fans that he's going to get.
Yeah, Alan, obviously, we kind of had a conversation earlier about this, and obviously just touching on how you feel on what Brian put up there and that wee kind of slideshow there.
Personally, I like to go with what I'm watching with my eyes. The stats, that was a cracking wee draw there, a windmill that Ryan put up. Yeah, that's what I would like. But I know I like stats are sometimes useful in all seriousness, but when we're watching kind of either week in, week out, and it probably says it all as well that Brendan's been choosing kind of Kyogo maybe 80% of the time to start, I'd probably say. So as much as we want every Celtic player to succeed, especially when you invest that amount of money in, I think even taking away from the money, I don't think Adam does kind of his output and his performances have been up to scratch this year. I don't want to kind of delve too much and have too much of a go into him like when maybe they off camera, but it's just not been. It's just been pretty poor and not at the probably level that club besides a Celtic and the ambitions that Celtic's got probably needed better. And you see the kind of gulf in class. Personally, I'd say between the quality in Kyogo and the quality in Ida at present. As we spoke about earlier, I wish Ida all the best. I hope this turns round. Maybe a bit of confidence with a goal or two could turn that round. But as we speak at the minute, that would be rather hopeful because we're now nearly at the end of January. We've seen Ida for the majority of this. This is maybe a half, 2/3 into the season. And I'm not seeing a great deal I'm liking about Ida at present, but I try to be more positive and hope that turns around with maybe a goal or two, but we can only watch and see how things pan out.
Yeah, like I says, I think a lot of different fans, it's always all about different opinions, but I understand what Baz was saying there as well. There is a lot of Celtic fans now starting to gripe about, his lack of goal scoring and things that are starting to happen with Adam himself. We don't know personally what's going on, or, none of us are privy to any of that nonsense. So we just need to wait and see. I do like Adam Ida. I've always been a fan of Big Ida, and I do have faith that he's, he will come through this. I think, as you said, Ryan, sometimes strikers do go through wee bits where they do struggle for form, and it could be something silly. It could be, just. I personally think this season, though, for Ida, it's been kind of stop-start for him because of the summer he had as well. Was he going to get his move to Celtic? Was he not? The big man was playing games with his former club as well, missing flights, all that kind of nonsense, trying to get his move up here. So there was a bit of a charade there going on with Norwich as well. Their manager saying he's not playing this game because he turned up late and left him out for a couple of pre-season games as well. So he missed a bit of the pre-season preparations as well. And then his deal happened late when he came here. And like Baz says earlier in the show, folks, Celtic have rotated the squad that much. He's not really getting a chance to come in and play 4 and 5 games in a row. He's playing 1 and he's out for 3 and he's back in and then he's... So it's... there is a combination of...
But that was the same last season as well. He was in and out last year, but still scoring. So I don't think it's...
Granted, but it was more... I would say he was more in last season than out, in terms of more regular football. This season he's been...
Can change that, no? And change Brendan's
listen, 100% as well. It has been certainly more on the calendar this season for him than because he's never played. I mean, up until this season, he's never played in the Champions League before. So he's had to play more games as well. But listen, it's one of you can't argue he's for him. I mean, he's not scoring the goals. And every striker, as you know, no more than anybody, mate. Strikers love scoring goals. It's what they're paid to do. It's what they wee bit of banter in the dressing room with the boys. You know, I'm scoring goals. What you're doing? I'm doing this, doing that. You always like that laugh and a bit of banter. So unfortunately, just now Adam's he's not doing that. But like I say, guys, I do fully back him to come through. To come through this wee bit.
Goals in them in the last few weeks.
By the way, touching on that as well, just as Alan says, it's always perfectly timed. The wee man's just get going a month down there, so big congrats to that as well. A couple of things, guys. Obviously, we're just about to finish up. A couple of things I want to say. Deepest condolences to the family of Dennis Law. We found out tonight before we came live that Dennis has just tragically passed away tonight. Scotland and Manchester United legend. So our deepest thoughts and condolences are with Dennis's family and everybody that's involved with Dennis. I never had the privilege of seeing Dennis. My dad's told me all about him again, similar to the Lisbon Lions. I feel as if I know him, but great player, absolutely brilliant player. I've seen footage of him. He looked a very good player. So, and it's sad to see Dennis has passed away. Just before we do finish up, guys and girls, just to let you all know that we have another bonus ball up for grabs. So this time around, the last time we had the Scotland jersey, remember? Baz, you were one of the signed names that was on that top.
Mm-hmm.
This one is Joe Muller. There it's there. I'll bring you in a wee bit closer. So there's a photo of Joe. I think that's the centenary season. There we go. It's been hand signed by Joe himself. There's his signature there. And it has got the signature of authenticity as well. And it was kindly donated to us by Legends Gallery. So we do thank, obviously, through our sponsor, Mr. Alec Beveridge, as well. So as you can see on the running bar, folks, bit similar to the last time, numbers 1 to 50. And all you need to do is £5 per ball. And all you need to do is put your £5 into our PayPal. If you can't see the PayPal on the running bar, it is indeed this PayPal that's going up on screen. So RyanClifford9@aol.co.uk. And that's how you enter, folks. Nice wee piece for anyone, Ryan, that's looking for a bit of Celtic memorabilia. Big Alan's got me a Celtic jersey, he knows what to do, and probably more than what Joe Steeden had in the bag with the Lisbon Lions or a Girard, man, so he's probably not going to want it.
Alan's probably got a replicate, to be fair. So
he's probably get four of
them. No, listen, it's a cracking piece. Obviously, doing the event with Joe and getting to know him a bit more and stuff. His stories, his brilliant career and brilliant guy, obviously, and obviously it's brought to us by Legends Gallery. So it's a fantastic piece for Celtic, any Celtic fan or anybody who likes memorabilia and stuff like that. So, and again, if you did get that in the market, I'd imagine you'd be paying a lot more than £5 or so. Again, it's just that, again, it's for the viewers as well, because obviously they support us, and it's something to put for the viewers to obviously to bid for and get for maybe their room or surprise for somebody. It's something different for the viewers as well.
I'm not well many shots, guys.
No, it's a crack. It's a crack.
I'll put that up, man. Let's go and start it.
No, it's a cracking piece, mate. It's a brilliant piece, and obviously, obviously Joe was brilliant with us as well. So it's good to kind of hand stuff back as well to the fans. So, no, it's a fantastic piece, mate, and hopefully people can get a bid for it, and hopefully they can win it and have a fantastic piece in the house, mate.
100%, mate. Definitely.
I was just laughing at him saying I'm not wearing any shot.
And it's good to see, obviously, Alan. It's good to see, obviously, Alan's granddad's joined us tonight as well.
It's good to see
Alan's granddad for Tenerife. Alan's granddad. Alan's granddad for Tenerife joined us there. There we go. Good to see you, baby.
Done it.
He's mad at me. He's not talking about Fergus McCann. The two of them have got a lot in common. The two of them bought airspace, but I'm not telling you what Webby's was for.
He's a good man, maybe. Brilliant.
He's got a boot for George Samaras.
Aye. And that was no Stones.
He's like,
brilliant, man. Cracking guy.
well, Webby, I'll see you soon, mate. Cheers for viewing.
Strolls into a bar like Georgie Samaras carrying the digger. And a 40 hooper a huddle hound on his side. Be happy, brilliant. But anybody, guys, this will be going on social media as we finish. Anybody that's want to take part in the bonus ball, let us know. You can message us, or as I said, send in your £5 to our PayPal with a message of your name, so we know who you are, and we can put your name next to a number. And same again, best of luck to the winner. Want to wish everybody a good weekend, Baz. Cheers again for coming on, mate. Best of luck to you guys on Sunday as you take on Leeds, mate. Hope all goes well. And you have a great weekend. It was good to see you back on again as well, mate.
I've really enjoyed it. It's been brilliant. A good laugh again, and always brightens up my Fridays or Mondays whenever I come on. So I've really enjoyed it, and thanks for having me.
Not a problem. You're always welcome, as I keep saying.
Brilliant.
Cheers,
Alan, Ryan, same to you guys as well. Hope you have a great weekend, and enjoy the Celtic game tomorrow.
Hopefully, Wonderball, we volleyball and goalie.
He's a bit. He get his calibre lighter out, isn't he? He's getting in for nothing, man. He's telling the steward it's a refillable. He's like, I'll get you a bar, big man. I'll get you a bar. Here's a can of Diet Red Bull. Aye. He was on Benidorm's hardest boozers. He didn't have a Harley Davidson, mate. We rocked up in a BMX. But everybody else, folks, cheers for tuning in. Sorry I couldn't get everybody's comment up. We'll be back Monday, obviously, with the dial-in as per at 8:30 Monday evening. But for the time being, have a great weekend. Enjoy the game if you're going tomorrow, folks. Take care. We'll see you all again soon. Cheers. Hail, hail. Bye-bye.